Fountain Pencil. Welcome back to my channel. I am about to start in this LeetCode problem set, problem number 42, which is trapping rainwater. And I should have started the timer before this, but I did want to go through, I kind of whiteboarded this out a little bit. So I was trying to figure out the path of least resistance for this, and I think how it's going to work the best with the shortest code is going to be with this left pointer, right pointer thing. So I spent some time to lay out some of this info, and I can show you guys up here too, but down here I decided that we need to be able to increment the left side and also the right side. I also am going to be doing a while loop and using if-else statements. So to update the total water that we're going to have, we're going to initialize a total water trapped a variable here right in the beginning. So for that, we will then use these if-else in this if-else statement. If it's left max, then the height of it's going to be minus the height of the right, and then vice versa with the right minus the left. So that would add the water stored, and just basically, like I said down here, incrementing and decrementing these things. So I'm going to keep this here, my whiteboard, as a guide as I'm coding this, because I think it's going to help. But we want to take the heights essentially as the inputs and return the amount of water that's trapped. So we're just going to iterate both of those pointers towards the center, if that wasn't already clear. Just kind of like coming, and then we just keep track of the maximum height on each side. So for the left, it's going to be 0, 1, 1, and then maximum here would be 2, 2, 2, 2, and then we bump up to 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and so on. But if we were to go from the right over, it would actually look like 3's going that way, because that's the maximum height. So getting that, what am I saying? Getting that maximum height for each side will help us calculate that trapped water. So, which without much else to say, I want to go ahead and jump in here. Let's first reread the question, because it doesn't hurt to reread it multiple times. So again, question is number 42, trapping rainwater, and the solution is in Python. So given n non-negative integers representing an elevation map where the width of each bar is 1, compute how much water it can trap after raining. And then this is that example. So the input heights are 0, 1, and then this is 0 because there's rainwater trapped in it. So think of it like a negative space if you're like an art person. Then 2 and 1, and then we see that again here, and so on. So that's kind of what we're following, and then these are the constraints. So I first want to say that if there's no height, then we just return 0, because in a situation like this, for example, there's no height on the other side, so there would be no 0, which would eliminate certain edge cases right off the rip here. So I'm going to say, oops, I'm not going to say in all caps, if not height, return 0. And I think that's just a good way to start. And now I'm going to initialize these pointers, because again, if there's nothing there, then there's no need for a pointer. So I'm going to say left, right equals 0, and the length of the height. So we just initialized here those two pointers. Then we want to initialize the variables to keep track of those maximum heights. So we'll say left max, right max, I think I want to say 0, 0 there. And then lastly, we want to do the initialization, like I said before, where I have total water here. I am just going to call it total water, because I think that's probably the best way to describe it. And that will just initialize the total water that is trapped. So we'll just say total water is 0. So basically, we're just going to say a bunch of greater than or less thans to say if something is greater than or less than. We're talking about more so the pointers on each side. We will be incrementing to the left and decrementing the right as needed. So let's say, for example, while left is less than right, if height of left is less than the height of right, if height of left is then greater than or equal to the left max, then the left max becomes the new height of the left. Otherwise, or else, the total, what did I say for this? Total water, this should work. The total water actually should be plus or equal to the left max minus the height of the right, or no, height of the left. And then that means we will then increment the left by 1. And then we're going to do the same thing again, but with the right. So let's say if height of the right is less than or equal to the right max, we want to say the right max then becomes the new height of the right. And by doing that, we then say else, and the same sort of thing again where we have the total water is plus, I don't think plus or, oh my heavens, the right max minus the height of the right. And then we will return right as a decrement, thus returning the total water. I don't like that right there. I want one more. Okay, so initializing the pointers, and I think this should cover those edge cases right in the beginning, and if it doesn't, we will see. But overall, and I also want you guys to keep in mind, this was not done in 7 minutes. I did read through this and obviously whiteboarded stuff out. But this should, in theory, do a really good job of just taking a pointer over and seeing where that max height is and how, if there is something there, first off. If there's nothing there, then that's fine. But trying to essentially accumulate the total result of the total water collected. So let's go ahead and run this. If height of left is less than height of right. Apparently that's not correct somehow. The list is out of range. Do I have a spelling error? I don't think I have a spelling error anywhere. While left and right. Look at my okay. So if the height of left is less than the height of right, the list index is out of range. So let's see what we're looking like. Left max. I just want to make sure I'm looking at the rest of this with a more critical eye. Maybe I was wrong here. Maybe I should be doing, no, if left is less than right, then it doesn't hold the water. And then that means that if right is then greater than or equal to, or if left is greater than or equal to right, then we figure out that that's the max and becomes the new height. So I'm struggling to see how this is giving me a problem. If height of left is greater than the height of right. Oops, apparently it's time to stand. I'm a little stuck. I'm not gonna lie. Because this wait a second. Right? Hold on. I think I'm just missing that. Nice. Pays of a critical eye. Okay. So that feels pretty good. Did have that slight miscalculation there. We aren't going to talk about it, but running it, let me run it one more time just to make sure it wasn't a fluke. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Okay, let's submit this. I haven't submitted anything yet. So let's see what we have. Okay, runtime did pretty good, but memory did horrible. I only beat 13% of users with Python on memory, but runtime I'm actually really impressed with. 87%. So I guess that's not the worst. And I would say this was more of like 20 minutes if, you know, we're being realistic about how long it took me to read through the problem and like kind of whiteboard stuff out. Also, I got this whiteboard from a very cheap place. I don't want to give them they don't need more recognition than they already got. All right. But it has really helped in my like programming problems just because like I try to talk through things and remember those things. It's actually a lot easier for me to visualize how I want to like do some like logic or equations. So if you guys don't have one of these tiny little whiteboards, I mean, you can use paper, sure, but I just didn't want to waste paper. You should totally get one because they're totally worth it. Anyway, I am going to put this in my GitHub repo that I have, and you guys are more than welcome to fork and clone. You can make it better. You can make it worse. You can learn something new. You can have some fun. And that's all I really have for you guys for right now. But I'm going to go ahead and do hopefully 1 or 2 more problems because I didn't do them the last 2-ish days. So I need to catch up. I'm trying to get through those 100 problems in 100 days. And I think that 100 days is over October 9th. So we're a little over a month away. And I think I'm pretty okay. I'm all right, but I'm getting a little bit behind. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.